What's up, fungal associates? Welcome to Completely Arbortrary's Tropical Vacation. It's the podcast about tropical trees and some other related topics. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Alex Crowson. And over there on the big green couch, we got a bit of a Casey Clapp on our hands.
It's me.
Hey, clap on hands.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good. Hi, Casey.
Hey, Alex, I went to see the Tune Yards yesterday.
Oh, no kidding. I bet they were great live, huh?
You know, they are. I have one issue, though, and I talked about this with other people there. Here's my thing.
What's up?
I like a band. I like a full band.
Did
Right now, it's just the two. It's just the two main folks, bassist guy and lead singer girl.
Yeah.
Wonderful. They crushed it. They did all the things that you'd want them to do. But I like a full band.
Did they have any, like, backing tracks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it Merle, I think is her name? Can't remember the main singer's name, the kind of band leader. But she did all the looping and
cool.
did a really good job.
It's kind of neat.
Because their songs are complicated. So you can't just be like, okay, and tuku-pa-pa-pa-tuku-pa.
Yeah.
And the last time I saw them, they had like an actual drummer, I think at least a guitarist in the back. And like, it was way more compelling.
Yeah.
And that is just is what I've determined. Like, I've seen a lot of EDM shows. I've seen a lot of little shows of every different kind of creative music person you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I like the full collaboration of all these individuals doing these individual things and creating this very complex thing.
It definitely is different. Like it's a much more like human sounding, you know, even if it's like if a drum loop of a real human drummer, having a live drummer play is so much more kinetic.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what I was feeling out there. Because, they, like I said, no problems. All the music sounded great.
Sure.
But it just
it
was lacking some depth.
And punch.
Yes, exactly.
Well, Casey, I think I have something to make you feel a little better about that.
What?
The Cook Island Pine.
Well, it does. I feel better. I feel way better.
Which, of course, does not grow in the Philippines. I don't know who would ever think that.
No. Honestly, I thought of somebody who might have thought that, and I was like, no, they wouldn't do that.
They wouldn't do that. They're not that dumb.
No.
And we're going to talk about this Cook Island pine after a quick break. Enjoy the ads, and we'll see you right back here on Completely Arbortrary's Tropical Vacation. Welcome back to Completely Arbortrary's Tropical Vacation. Cook Island pine.
How do you feel about it so far?
I have some thoughts.
You already have some thoughts about the Cook Island
about
pine.
the name, but we can get to those later.
Okay, yes.
Casey, let's imagine that you and I, we're on Cook Island.
Oh.
I'm assuming there are many islands in the Cook Islands.
Yes.
Or at least several.
Well, yeah, honestly, it's from New Caledonia.
Okay.
Which is an island way out in the South Pacific, and it is, I think, named the Cook Island pine because Mr. Captain Cook, who ended up finding a bunch of things and did this big circumnavigation of the South, I think that it was an island tree that he thought was a pine, and his name was Cook.
Idiot.
So it is known as that. So the Cook's pine or New Caledonia pine, or sometimes Cook Island pine.
Oh, Cook's pine. Interesting.
Pin columnaris.
Pin columnaris.
But in this is actually it was I think now it's a French territory or something like that.
Colony, I think. Yeah, right?
I don't think this is a specific colony. No.
Okay.
Those are all old. Now everything's a territory.
Oh, sure. They changed the name, so it's different
it's
now.
completely different, Alex. Get on board with the new generation.
Sorry.
Anyway, so I will probably call it Cook's pine or Cook Island pine or New Caledonia pine or, maybe just Pin columnaris. But it is Araucaria columnaris.
Okay. Columnaris. Okay. Well, let's see, Casey. Let's imagine that we are on New Caledonia and we find some of these non-pines. Casey, let's ID this tree.
Oh, right. So this is a tree that if you live anywhere in, again, we're doing all these tropical trees, so it's always going to be like Southern California, Florida, those kind of like...
the Southern Hemisphere.
Anywhere probably in the Southern Hemisphere that is tropical, they might plant this tree.
Cool.
But if you are in the United States here, you're in Europe, you have to go to the very south of Europe, you have to go to the south of the United States. Down in Mexico, Oaxaca is going to have them, that kind of place. But it is a tropical tree. It likes to have a lot of water, and it grows natively over on these islands over New Caledonia And New Caledonia has like a ridiculous amount of Araucaria species and Agatha, actually, or Agathis, both of those two, the two things. So Kari is Agathis. You remember our big old New Zealand tree?
The monkey puzzle, Araucaria.
As Araucaria, exactly. Yeah. There's two species that are native to the whole continent of South America, but the Araucaria is like a wildly diverse group on this small island of New Caledonia.
Okay.
We've talked about it a little bit when we did the ye old pay win way back when, but that was like, I don't know, what, 5 years ago?
15 years ago?
It was like at least 15 years ago. I'm pretty positive. But all of these trees are growing there, and they've kind of all speciated into like these weird little niches, but it's also like a really strange not volcanic, but it's got like a weird geology, and it's been separated from everything else for so long.
I see.
There's just this crazy population center of this one kind of tree.
Groovy. I like these kinds of places.
Yeah, do you? Yeah.
They're just like secluded from everything, and so they have like some wild shit going on.
Yes.
Biologically.
Yeah, and like the endemism.
Nice.
Man, God, that's so hard to say.
Yeah, that's fine, Casey.
The endemicness. Nice idea. The endemicness of this place is crazy. The diversity here, Alex, though, is just off the charts.
Fun.
So there are 13 species that are endemic to New Caledonia.
Wow.
They occur from 3,000 feet in elevation all the way down to sea level.
Amazing.
Which is just incredible.
How does that compare to that old Russian wilderness, the Klamaths?
Well, those don't have, let's see, I think there's 18 species of conifer that are native in that 1 square mile, the Miracle Mile there.
Yeah.
So that's fair. But this is all on one island. It's quite a bit larger, but it's not like a giant island. It's comparably small. But the difference is the Russian wilderness has a bunch of different flora coming up from the south and coming from the north. And they kind of overlap, and there's a huge elevation gradient. So from the bottom to the top, you get this big change.
Oh, and this is just a unique, like, these plants don't come from north, south, east, west. They just are here.
Yes, and most likely they all were related or were the same tree and then have just slowly speciated out to find different things.
Cool.
For instance, our Cook Island pine does not grow more than, I think, like 30 meters inland from essentially the beach. It is a littoral species.
Oh, littoral.
Yes. Isn't that great?
That's like grows on the beach.
Exactly. It means it grows right within or on or very, very close near a lake shore or a seaside.
Okay.
So this only grows really closely to the beach.
Does it grow in soil or sand? Or sandy soil?
Sandy soil. Sandy soil is the answer.
Sandy soil. How you doing?
Hey, good to see you, Sandy. I always love having you around. Yeah, so it is. It's this really like very tall, growing up to like 60 meters.
Damn.
Yeah, sounds like 150 feet.
Holy shit!
It gets up there. It's a big, tall tree.
Wow.
But it has a very skinny crown, which is really fun. So it does not grow more than, I don't know, maybe 10 feet, maybe a few meters wide. So it stays very tight and very bushy. So it's branches as opposed to the Norfolk Island pine, another Araucaria species that you have probably seen growing in a pot during Christmas time at Fred Meyer.
Yes, exactly.
That is where you've seen that tree.
Yes.
So those are they're a little bit wider spaced. So if you're if you're looking out and you see, hey, I think I see a tree out there. It looks like an Araucaria. One looks like a bunch of brushes. The Norfolk Island pine. Yeah. It's got these really widely spaced branches with these brushes that look like they're angled up.
Almost like little satellite dishes.
Yes, yeah, totally. It's exactly right. Yeah. Versus our columnaris, the Cook Island pine. Everything is way more densely packed. So it's this really nice Christmas tree looking tree where it has this perfect triangular shape, but is very much dense with these puffy little branches that come out.
It almost looks like it was grown for like horticulture reasons. Like this is a hedge tree or something.
You would think it would be, but not at all. That's just its normal growth.
And I'm assuming columnar columns.
Exactly right. That's where it gets its name.
Of course.
Yeah, you get it. You're
just
cool.
Have to point out the obvious.
Hey, if you don't, who will?
I guess there's only two of us.
There
so
is, so I guess, it would have to be you. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to sit here and be like, did you see that? Did you notice?
Casey points out the the subtle and I point out the obvious.
Exactly. And that is why we're partners.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. The leaves of this lovely tree grow in two different ways. The first are much more all-like, the kind of younger needles, which of course this makes sense. They want to be a little bit pokier so that
spike.
Something's eating them. Exactly.
Sure.
But as they get older, they're much more scale-like, and they kind of overlap on top of each other.
Cool.
So it makes their twigs look a lot like kind of cordage, or they look like a big, thick kind of rope-like thing.
Oh, sure.
Because they all bend forward. Either they're a little bit pokey and kind of pop out, or they're like really scale-like, and they really are much more pressed to the branches.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very Araucaria thing, isn't it?
It is, yeah, kind of looking somewhere in between scale-like and all-like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And kind of
totally.
like in layers, sort of overlapping each other a little bit.
Totally, yeah. And some don't do it. So I guess it's a thing for a lot of the trees, but it's all on a spectrum.
You know what I always think about? Like the visual for that, Casey?
Yeah.
Is like waffle cones, like stacked, like a stack of waffle cones.
Oh, a stack of waffle cones.
Yeah, you go to the ice creamery and they have that big stack of cones.
Yeah, I'm totally with that. That sounds exactly like what, that's a great description.
It flashes in my mind every time we talk about this kind of
How
tree.
funny.
Yeah.
I love that.
I've got cream on the brain.
Well, sometimes you got to go get ice cream. So the cones on this, it's a monoecious tree. So it's got male and female cones.
One house.
So creates those little dangly bits that look like these little cones that hang downwards that look almost like ornaments. But you tap them, they'll release a bunch of pollen.
Okay.
And then they'll fall away.
Oh, are they quite feathery?
Honestly, these are a little bit more robust. They're probably about 2 or so inches long, and they don't get too wide. They just look like, I don't know, little worms hanging down, little plump worms.
Yeah, male cones are not that great to look at.
They don't do a lot for me. No, not into them. Now, the seed cone though, way better. Seed cone looks like other Araucaria, and it grows upright, and it has these long kind of bristly bits that come out of it.
Wow.
And it's got one seed. So, of course, this is called the Cook Island pine.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a pine. It's an Araucaria. It's a completely different thing.
Where's the hyphen, Mr. Senator?
That is my big question.
Yep.
There is no hyphen whenever you look this up. It's a huge problem. It's a huge problem. We don't want to deal with it. But you know what? I also learned that the Araucaria, the whole genus, is named after the Araucari people. There's a Araucani, I think is what it is, actually.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're people down in South America.
Cool.
So they were around this tree, so they said, wow, these are the people of this tree. We will call this, name it that.
Cool.
So
wow.
That is like, it's
Shocker.
a name. It is, it's a shocker, but they did a pretty good job.
Not after Fred Johnson back home.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's Johnsonia. Yeah, great. Yeah, this is a nice, that's a good part of the story.
Yeah, okay.
But so here's the thing though, there's not like, it's a name of a people, not the name of the tree. So we don't really have a good, like Pei-Wen is the name of the monkey puzzle.
Sure.
So this should be Cook Island Pei-Wen. But
I
then
see, yeah.
Pei-Wen is also named after the people that are there, or maybe the people are named after the tree. Either way,
Okay.
there's not a good other term for pine in this case.
Well, I did see one thing, and I don't know if this is like a really general word in the same way that quercus was like a word for all oaks or whatever.
Okay.
Paina. It's like Paina Maori.
Oh, okay.
It says the name is specifically used in Mangaya, possibly to distinguish it from the other pine species or refer to a particular variety of the Cook Island
Interesting.
pine.
Yeah, because this was, there were Polynesians here, I think since AD 1000. They initially actually cultivated this tree and planted it all over the island.
Cool.
So, yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe we should use one of their names. It's not listed on my resources here, which is a little frustrating.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so thank you, Alex.
Yeah, I did a simple Google search. Where have you been?
I've just been in the conifer database, just swimming through, reading about this very strange tree. So these little cones, they grow upright, and I bring up pines because pines have two little ovules that become seeds that are underneath their scales. So when the scales of a pine cone are really close together, there are two little seeds that essentially, they technically are on the top of the cone, but then when you open them up, they kind of appear on the bottom. Don't worry about it. They're inverted is what it's called.
Oh, okay.
But there's two.
Yeah.
Per scale.
Those little pockets.
Yeah.
Looks like the roof of a mouth.
Exactly. Yeah. Not for the Araucaria.
Okay.
There's only one per scale.
Oh.
So very different botanically speaking.
Okay.
Obviously, it looks way different too, so you can usually tell them apart.
Sure.
But those individual seeds are attached to the scale. So like the true firs or something, the scales will fall and the seed cone will fall apart with the seeds attached to each scale. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. Alex is freaking out.
Not dioecious.
He's breathing deeply.
Oh my God.
He's got this. Everyone, hold your breath.
Decussant.
No.
Fuck.
Decussate means it grows like a plus sign. So it has opposite pairs of buds or leaves or something like that, and then they grow 90 degrees from each other. So when you look down the twig,
Oh, that's
like
right.
a plus sign.
Well, tell me what it
decussate.
is, and I'll scream at myself later.
Dehiscent.
Dehiscent.
It's dehiscent. That means they fall apart piece
knew
by piece.
this.
You did, and we all know that you knew this, so there's no question.
And does it sort of have the Araucaria thing that's, or the monkey puzzle thing that is like, it has sort of a central like axis, and they all kind of like almost like a pineapple.
Yes,
where, like
yeah,
they're all
yeah, yeah.
connected to the middle part.
Totally, exactly
Okay.
the same. Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's a really beautiful little cone. I don't have that cone because, of course, I don't live down where I can find it.
Oh man.
Too bad.
Shout out.
Yeah, send it on up if you live down there and you
Please.
find one. Thank you. Now, the other thing about this is that it's got really nice bark. I actually really like the bark of this tree. It looks somewhere between a true fir and a birch and a spruce. Mash all those things
Wow.
together. So it's kind of like scaly, but the scales kind of start to exfoliate off, but they're all smooth on top. So it kind of looks like it's smooth, but then there's also like these horizontal lenticels, which makes me think of a birch.
Wow.
So it's like horizontal lenticels on smooth scales that peel back.
It's kind of cool. It looks like you made whipped cream to stiff peaks. It's like look at the top of a meringue pie.
Oh, yes. Okay, I see. You whipped cream to stiff peaks. Well said. Now, this tree is famous for one particular trait, which is that as it grows in its native habitat, very columnar, grows straight up,
Yeah.
perfectly vertical. If you plant this tree in the southern hemisphere, it leans to the north.
That's right.
If you plant this tree in the northern hemisphere, it leans to the south.
If you plant it on the equator, it grows straight up.
Go straight up.
Wow.
Because that is where essentially New Caledonia is.
Amazing.
It's about on the equator. So if you are, it's just a little bit south of the equator. And I should also note that if you're looking at Australia, it's an island way off to the right, to the east of Australia. So it's just a little below the equator. And they essentially grow directly straight up in their native habitat.
I have like a million questions about this. Is this the topic of today's subject?
It is.
Okay. Well, you know I don't know my degrees, you know.
Oh.
But if I plant it
10 degrees is cold. 100 degrees is warm.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
I always confuse. I always forget to add the 0. I'm like, why is it so hot today?
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
If you plant it just 100 miles north of the equator,
Yeah.
will it point at a more subtle angle than if you plant it 1,000 miles north of the equator?
Yes.
So depending on where it is pointing more toward the equator.
Yes, it will grow more intensely
That is really interesting.
as you plant it further away.
Wow.
Yes, there's a paper that is in the show notes, so go take a look at it. It's very short and very simple to read through, so no big questions there. But yes, essentially, as you go further away, it angles harsher towards the equator. And this is not random. They did a study, and the pictures that they show are very clear and obvious that they grow over into it. Everyone noticed this. They're like, that tree's growing over there. All those trees are growing like that. Why is that happening? Because they're not doing the same thing that we are used to. So we have talked a little bit about it, but it may behoove us to recall what phototropism is.
Yes.
Phototropism is...
May I?
You may, Alex, please.
Phototropism, it's in the name, a lover of light, attracted to light.
That would be photophilia.
I know.
Okay.
Jesus
Sorry.
Christ. The last time I said this to somebody, they said the exact same thing. Kyle said the same thing. It's shut up.
Right. Sorry.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, I guess we shouldn't call you out when you're wrong. We just got to let you flop around for a while.
By the
like
way,
a fish on a boat.
Philia and tropism is kind of the same thing.
You know.
By the way. You're drawn towards something. You have a proclivity to do something towards something.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
May
I continue
point,
or?
And you can continue. But you're on thin ice.
That's strike 1. Oh, right. That's probably strike 50. So
no,
phototropism.
We reset them each time you go.
Oh, great. Okay,
so you're fine.
So phototropism simply means that it grows toward the light, goes toward the sun.
Yes.
And of course, the equator is strong. The sun is strongest at the equator,
as far as we know.
So this just has like hyperphototropism.
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't.
Okay.
That's not quite accurate.
Magnets.
Not that we know of. We don't know. That's another good option.
Okay.
This paper literally is like magnetism, maybe.
Or those cells in trees that are like a gravity sensor.
Yes, see, that's the other one to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
I nailed it. Wow.
You totally did. So you named all the things that like, well, it could be. And everyone's like, yes.
It could be.
You could be right.
Yeah.
This is a question we are not going to get to the bottom of.
Okay.
Because these people have studied it and they're like, we have demonstrated it's real. It's not a fake thing. It's not by accident. It's not random.
By the way, you should do this more often.
What?
Tell me early on that there is no conclusion.
Oh,
that feels great.
That way there's nothing that you
pressure
can look
just
forward to.
lifts.
Oh,
yeah,
great. Well, yeah,
I don't have to think about anything.
No, we're just on a journey today. The destination, never going to reach it.
I see. The destination is the journey.
Exactly.
Cool.
You get it.
Great.
So that's the thing, though, is that these trees, rather, I should say most trees, they are very attuned to precisely the angle of light, but generally speaking, it's upwards, even as far like into the Arctic Circle.
Yeah.
The trees still just grow normally up.
It's almost like a what is that, mean or like a mode median?
Yeah.
That's like, the sun goes like this and like this. So I'm just going to go straight up because that's kind of the center point.
Yeah,
you know
theoretically.
what I mean?
But even so, Alex, phototropism is mostly regulating how a tree grows towards light if it's getting shaded on one side. So normally, if there's just light coming from every direction, a tree grows straight up.
Yeah.
And that is also in response to its negative correlation or its negative relationship with gravitropism. So essentially, if gravity is going this way, I'm going to grow that way.
Yeah.
Versus phototropism that says, yes, do grow this way. Oh, but there's some shade on this side, so I'm going to lean more away from the shade.
Gotcha.
And it just regulates itself by auxin and a bunch of other like weird gene things that come together, but those are also so complicated that everyone's like, we know it works, we know how it works, but we don't know how it works.
Why?
Yeah, we don't know which gene turns on and which one expresses which way to make it all work together. Okay. But like throw everything in a black box and it works perfectly every time.
Okay, so in a vacuum, in the middle of a field with no trees around, 100% of the time it's going to grow straight up.
It's going to go straight up.
Okay.
Yeah, like almost like measurably perfectly straight.
Yeah.
As long as, if nothing ever hits it or knocks it down. Like, let's say perfect conditions in all situations, the tree is going to be a perfectly, like, nearly levelable vertical growth.
Right.
It's going to be great. So this tree, our Cook Island pine, our Araucaria columnaris, will do this only near its normal habitat.
Wild.
But as soon as you move it away, it will automatically start growing that way. So conceivably, everything is the same except for that very particular way that light is hitting. Yeah. So you hit on the head where in the northern hemisphere, the sun is angled ever so slightly from the south. So it will hit the south side of something really hard, but not the north side.
Right.
Opposite in the southern hemisphere.
Because the sun goes directly around the equator.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Always.
Always right there. Yeah. So if you are a little bit higher, a little bit low, the sun, I guess it does around the equator, but because of our ever so slight tilt in our axis on the planet.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
As it goes around, then as it gets to different sides of the sun, we're like closer and further away and things.
Oh, the orbit is like oblong.
No. I think we have a not an oblong orbit. Well, is it?
I guess
I think it is.
We should clarify and say that the Earth is moving around the sun, not the other way.
Yes, which is important to note. Very good to
in
note.
this day and age.
Yeah, we got to make sure we check all the boxes. Well, it's actually the tilt of the Earth that helps like give us our seasonality. So as we go around the sun, it moves up and down in the sky, but it's always going to hit in the northern hemisphere on that southern side.
You can tell, by the way, that this is a tree podcast and not a solar system podcast.
Yeah, we should do a solar system podcast.
I'd love to see how it goes.
Yeah, we really should. Okay.
With our roles reversed, where I'm the expert.
Okay, done. Deal. I am going to have the posture that I don't actually believe in space.
Oh, okay. We're going to have a month. We're going to have a theme month all about Uranus.
There's a really great example that it's very esoteric, but you might be able to do it every now and then.
Wow.
If you go to the Hood River Fairgrounds and you look towards the east, you can see the perfect example of the effect that the sun has on the land because it hits it at a certain angle. So as you're looking to the east, the north will be on your left and the south will be on your right. And it's easy to do that there at these fairgrounds, which I go to for a Frisbee tournament. Oh. You have Mount Hood on one side and you have Mount Adams on the other side.
Sure.
So as you're looking at it, you're like, okay, cool. And you look off towards the distance and there are undulating, like rolling hills. On one side, on the south side of the hills, there are no trees and it's a nice grassy knoll.
On the south side?
On the south side.
Okay.
As soon as you cross over and get to the northern side, where the ground itself is ever so slightly shaded, there is more water available and the temperatures at the ground level are just a little bit cooler.
Sure.
So you can see one side as the hills roll. On one side, no trees, grass. On the other side, fully treed.
Crazy.
Then there's a ravine, and then when the hill starts to go back up again, pattern repeats itself.
It's like a sun shadow effect.
Exactly, totally is. And so you can see it so clearly right there. Every time I see it, I'm like, it's just, I love it when a pattern just really shows itself off.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Exactly. This is what I'm going. So
I like that too a lot.
It does. It feels good to be like, oh yeah.
It's very satisfying.
I get it. Yeah. I can see it right there.
Us humans, we love these patterns.
We do. We love seeing a good pattern.
It's a big one.
Yeah. So we started noticing these patterns with these trees. And we first were like, nah, that's funny. Now we're wondering like, this is the only tree that anyone has noticed that it's very specifically, and not just like, kind of, like intensely gone off. Like the top of it.
Like 45-degree angles in some instances.
Yes. The median lean for all of these trees, which is measured from the base of the tree to the apical meristem, the very tip of the growing tip.
Yeah.
So how far offset are those?
Oh, sure.
The median, which is the middle, not the average, of all the measurements that were taken, is 2.42 meters from the base.
Wow.
That's how offset it is. The median height is 18 meters. So that's a pretty big, tall tree. It's about 60 or so feet.
Leaning 6 feet from its base to its tip.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah. So these trees aren't just like sneezing around being like, I'm kind of leaning. They're like intensely going over.
They do look like in Photoshop, there's the smudge tool, and you're just like, I'm gonna fuck up Casey's face, make it really weird on this side.
It over there.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
it looks like I don't know, God's paintbrush just sort of smeared the paint of these trees.
Oh, so like a sneeze when God was making these trees.
Yeah, and he's like,
oh, geez,
it's Saturday night. I've got a long day of rest ahead of me.
I just gotta get this done. Yeah, it may be the case.
Yeah,
but so here's
I don't believe in God. Sorry.
Oh no, thank you, Alex. We appreciate it. So the other thing to like think about this tree is like, why?
Yeah.
Why is this one tree doing this?
This one tree.
It's got to be evolutionary, but here's the thing. These trees have evolved in this one place for millions of years.
Yeah.
Like they've probably been there since the maybe Cretaceous or the Tertiary. So like a long ass time ago.
Yeah.
Why? So what did this tree, because conceivably, if this island has been essentially in the same spot for a really long time, it has not been moving around. So this tree has been growing where there is light directly upwards for its entire life. Mm-hmm. Maybe its genes, I don't know, only give credit towards phototropism. So maybe for one reason or another, the gravitropism, doesn't really deal with it that much.
Interesting.
So it's not paying as much attention to gravity. Maybe it's not as sensitive to gravitropism as all the other trees.
Sure.
For, who knows why.
Yeah.
But now, if you move it ever so slightly away from this one particular spot, then the phototropism is like the hyper dominant form of like directionality.
And are those two kind of the main two ones inside the tree?
Yeah, pretty much.
Non-environmental?
Yes, exactly. So those are the things that will tell a tree where to grow and how to grow. Grow up, essentially.
Sure, yeah. I like this idea that the gravitropism in this species just kind of is like bunk. It's like it doesn't work that well.
Someone should need, we need that study is what we need.
But we need to because of that, we need to push the phototropism to like 200%.
Yes, I think what we need to do is take these trees up to space where there is no gravity.
Now that would be exciting. Wow, interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. Nobody is quite sure why.
That's wild.
And if you think about like everything is evolved, like everything in this room is a product of evolution.
Yeah, sure.
Everything in the world is. So this is curious because the tree did not develop this as some kind of, I guess, adaptation.
Yeah.
Because we're finding it in places where the trees don't grow. So it's never, to our understanding, I mean, Araucaria used to grow like different old species.
I see.
All the way up into like Arizona and Sweden. So we found fossils of Araucaria, but now they're only in the southern hemisphere.
Well, natively.
I
always get a little confused when you say they don't grow up here.
Yes.
They do.
Okay.
Right.
They do, yes.
But you have to plant them.
Exactly. They have to be planted. But like natively speaking, millions of years ago, you could find them. So like Petrified National Forest. No. Petrified National Park. Petrified Forest National Park. There we go. We got it. Thank you guys. Thanks. All of our producers are clapping. And you remember our one tree, the rainbow wood.
Yes.
Yes. Araucaria xylon arizonica.
Yeah.
That is a species of Araucaria, or in the same family. So they are, precursors of the trees we have today. Mm-hmm. So we know that they used to grow up here. So maybe even when they're up here, we don't know. We can't tell. Maybe they also had leans.
Sure.
But now that they're only down in this one particular zone, maybe they just don't need their leans anymore. Maybe they just kept this old gene from a long time ago. Because some people are thinking, well, this is actually maybe a deleterious gene, which means you keep growing over and over and over, and you angle ever so slightly in one direction. At some point, you're going to get too heavy and you're going to fall over.
Okay.
So maybe that this is some weird gene that like all the other trees that grew in a different place, like that did develop these leans, ended up just keeling over.
Oh.
So they all just died. So the only ones that survived were the ones that were near the equator because they could grow straight up.
Interesting.
I don't know.
But
maybe.
the ones that we plant, Southern California.
Yeah.
Will still lean.
They'll still lean.
So they're not falling over.
You're right. Yeah, they're not. But I don't know how long. I don't know how long.
Sure.
I think there's ones that in Sydney that are about 100 years old, but they're still kicking it.
It would make sense that the further the lean, I mean, you can't hold that angle forever.
I guess maybe.
You want me to stay in a push-up for 5 hours? No.
Yeah. Well, if you're a tree, you could do that.
Sure.
Some trees, because they all build. That's then after the phototropism, you get thigmomorphogenesis, where you now have gravity pulling on that tree, and that tree responds by building more wood on the compression side to hold itself up.
Sure.
Either way.
Wow.
All this to say, Alex, nobody knows. Yeah. We cannot figure out what would be the evolutionary reason that this would have developed.
I'm okay with this conclusion.
You are?
With a lack of conclusion.
What?
I know. Who am I?
I'm
the conclusion man. I love a conclusion.
Why? How?
It makes me so anxious to not have one.
You're
and
not
today
anxious
I'm
right
like,
now?
it's great. Well, I'm anxious right now, but not because of this.
Oh, jeez. How? This doesn't you're not wildly curious?
No, I think it's kind of cool.
What? Okay.
The tree holds its mysteries, and we will never solve them. Tell them what I'm doing.
Alex is right now twinkling his fingers together. That's the way I described it.
All right, Casey. Well, we got to take a quick break. We're right back to give our review and rating of the Cook Island pine.
And all its mysteries.
Right after this, here on Completely Arbitrary's Tropical Vacation. Welcome back.
Oh my God.
I spooked you. To Completely Arbitrary's Tropical Vacation. Sure. And that was our discussion of the Cook Island pine. Now we're going to give it a rating.
I love how you check in with yourself.
I know.
You say something silly and you're like, was that okay? And you're like, nah, that's fine.
Out loud to everyone.
Yeah. Everyone's like, I just saw his internal monologue right there.
Yeah, I do that a lot, actually. Casey, let's review this Cook Island pine. And here's how it works. We're going to give some final thoughts on this tree, on this leaning tree. And then give it a rating of 0 to 10 golden palm fronds of honor. As our resident expert, Casey, we'll begin with you.
Thank you, Alex. Here's the thing. This is a great tree. I like it. I think it's beautiful. I like its funny shapes. I like its funny little pillowy, kind of cord-like, conglomerations of branches and things.
Yeah.
I like that it leans, honestly. And I don't know. I'm 50-50 on the mystery of it. Because I like it. I like that it's mysterious. But also, I don't know. Half the thing about the mystery is figuring it out,
Sure.
That's what makes it fun.
When David Lynch was making Twin Peaks, he never intended to reveal who the killer was.
Really?
Yeah. He wanted to leave it ambiguous because to him that wasn't the point. But the network, I think it was ABC or NBC, put a lot of pressure on him and Mark Frost to
you gotta do that.
Make good on that promise.
You gotta make good on that promise.
Yeah. And, and David Lynch hated it. He even left the show because of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, okay. I'm with that. I'm on the corporate side here.
Yeah.
Where I get it, but that's the fun. That the fun is figuring it out. It's not always just seeing that there is a mystery.
Yeah. Sure.
So I dig that this tree does its things. I love the entire New Caledonia kind of ecosystem. It's such an interesting, evolutionary, I don't know, enigma.
It's a little hot spot.
It is. It's definitely a hot spot. It's hot. It's like Hawaii. It's so hot spot.
Wow.
So
it's like New Caledonia. It's so hot.
Dude, that's like New Caledonia. Oh my God. So I dig that. I don't know. I also like the, if we bring this into a bit of a pop cultural situation here, a tree's got a lean. Part of me is just like, that tree's cool.
Sure. Bit of a Fonzie.
Bit of a Fonzie. It's got something going on. Every other tree grows straight up. This tree's like, psh, whatever, man.
I'm chill.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
And it's always constantly reclining a little bit over here. Kind of dig that.
Love to lean.
Yeah. So I kind of like that idea to it. The cones seem nice. I'm not jumping out of my skin for them. They seem okay.
I met my son's new girlfriend. She seems nice.
She seems nice, but
it's
I don't know.
It's a very polite way of saying that they don't really do anything for you.
They don't really do anything for me, and I'm a cone guy. I want something that's going to be like, give me the bunya. That's the cone we're looking for. 7.1.
Okay.
It's fine. It's a great tree.
Just cresting over that 7.
It's just over honestly, the lean puts it over 7. Other than that, it's a curious tree, but it's not like, I don't know, it doesn't really get wild and super insane and all these things.
Yeah.
So it just has this one interesting curiosity, and I was really looking forward to figuring it out, yet I didn't.
Sorry, Casey.
So here I am just sitting here looking and saying, who knows? Tell me.
Did you go into the research for this episode believing or assuming that there was an answer?
I did. That someone had been like, yes, it does do this, and here's our best guess as to why.
I guess if I watched Twin Peaks for the first time, not knowing that there was a killer and they were revealed.
Oh my God.
Then I would be kind of disappointed if they never told me.
Yeah. So I'm sure that we could figure it out at some point, but it also just seems to be one of those things that's kind of like unimportant to a lot of people. Yeah,
I mean, I think it in the grand scope, it kind of is.
Yeah.
But, nothing is in the grand scope. Everything's very relational.
True.
All right, 7.1 you said?
Yeah, 7.1. Okay. It leans over 7.0.
Yeah, good.
At least by 2.42 meters.
Okay, yeah, great. Well, Casey, I don't think this tree is all that cool.
What?
I think it's kind of cool.
It's got lean, dude.
That is cool. That is the takeaway for me.
All right. I mean, did you see its hair?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Looks like a flock of seagulls type thing. I don't know. I'm not. I think Araucaria is interesting because I understand that they are conifers, but I'm like, behind closed doors, I'm like, but are they really?
What?
Like
you are not even contrarian, but I guess you just
a purist or something.
A purist? They make cones.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh my God! Wow!
They ain't no pine. They ain't no fir. Come on now.
This is blowing my mind.
You understand what I mean, though, right? I know that they're cones, but they're not like cones.
What?
I know this whole temperament sounds kind of like racist and xenophobic.
No,
like the cones we have here.
The cones we have here are way better.
Those are the real cones.
Wow, Alex, you're a tree xenophobe.
Yeah, sorry.
We knew it. We knew it this whole time. Look at this. It's been 4 years and now it's just coming out.
Sorry, I have a Pacific Northwest bias.
Oh,
surprise. So I don't know. I think the lean is really cool. Other than that, this tree's kind of missing the mark for me, Case.
Really?
So I'm going to go 5.6.
5.6. Jeez.
Not great.
It misses the mark because it leans a little bit too far to the south.
Very good, Casey.
So.
All right. Well, that was the Cook Island pine. Casey, it's time for a bit of a game.
All right.
This is the Filipineoak Affair.
Oh my God.
Here's a bit of a backstory.
Filipineoak.
Before we started recording, I thought this tree grew in the Philippines.
That's right.
I was very embarrassed when Casey said, no, not really at all. No. And for some reason, I got it in my head that this is a Filipino tree. So I had this idea for a game called the Filipineoak, which is a play on Filipino. Affair, which is also not a phrase.
The Filipino affair?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like a movie from the 70s about a law case, it's not anything. This is a terrible game.
We haven't even started playing it, Alex.
I know.
We'll be the judge of that.
I don't feel confident in it.
We'll be the judge of that.
But we're going to play it, and this is how it works, Casey. I've got a list. I thought there were more, but I've got a list of 4 trees.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you the specific epithet
Okay.
of the binomial name of these trees.
Okay.
You are going to tell me
My job.
if this is either a pine tree that grows natively in the Philippines.
Okay.
Or an oak tree that grows natively in the Philippines.
Oh, so it's got to be one or the other.
It's a Filipineoak.
Okay.
But let's play this game, Case.
All right.
All right, Casey, here we go.
Okay.
The first specific epithet. Kasaya. I think this game might be impossible.
Kasaya.
Would you like me to spell it?
Yes.
K-E-S-I-Y-A.
Okay, so that's got to be after somebody's name. I don't know that as a Latin term. I have never heard about it as a pine, and I don't look up a lot of oaks, so I'm going to go oak.
This is a pine tree.
No!
This is the Bangwet pine.
Bangwet pine?
Yeah.
What is this? What's this? So Pinus? Pinus?
Pinus Kasaya.
Kasaya?
Yeah.
What?
Would you like to know a little bit about this tree?
Yeah.
It is one of the most widely distributed pines in Asia. Its range extends south and east from the Khasi Hills. So it's named after, I guess, a mountain range or a hill range.
I am stunned.
So it's a very widespread pine.
Look
it's
at this
a long
thing.
needle pine.
Cambodia, China, India, Myanmar, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam.
This is a 3-needle pine, Casey.
What?
There you go.
Look at this thing. Okay.
Hey, this game's going pretty good.
I disagree.
Okay.
Wow.
I disagree with you. I think it is going well.
Okay. Molecular analysis using both nuclear and plastid markers have consistently placed the species sister to Pinus unanensis or Pinus densata unanensis clade, where densata is thought to have originated as Pinus kisiana x unanensis. It's a hybrid.
There you go. Oh, does that not count?
No, it does. No. It was conceivably a hybrid that initially started as Kisiense unanensis and now has become something. I don't know. Never mind. I got myself confused.
Well, that's okay. I'm right there with you. Well, Casey, let's do the next one here.
Thanks, Alex.
You learned a new tree.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna try and collect this cone sometime.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Celebicus or Celebicus.
Celebicus.
I'll spell this for you.
Okay.
Celebicus.
I think it's an oak.
You know this one.
Why? I do.
Why do you think it's an oak? Tell me why.
Because the calibium is the scientific term for the oak acorn. Calibium.
A calibium.
Yes.
Spelled C-E-L-E-B?
No, it's spelled with an A.
Okay.
But it sounds like enough like it that's what I'm saying.
You're correct anyway, Casey.
Nice.
This is Lithocarpus or Lithocarpus calabicus.
Yes. Okay.
Calabicus.
Okay.
This is the where's the
it's a tan oak species.
Yeah, I think it's called the celeb oak.
The celeb oak.
Keleb oak.
Keleb oak.
Yeah.
Okay, so even though I'm right, I think I saw something that said you got the answer right, but you used the wrong formula. I don't understand how you did that. I guess it's like some meme I saw somewhere.
Right. A math homework.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, so this is in the beech family, Fagaceae.
It is, yeah.
It is a tree native to the Philippines, Sulawesi, and Maluku Islands.
Wow, okay. There is, we have what used to be a tan oak, Lithocarpus, but now they've switched it to its own thing, Notholithocarpus, which means new or another Lithocarpus.
Neolithocarpus. And this oak is fine.
Yeah.
It looks all right.
It's
got non-oakish kind of leaves.
Yes, most of them do over there when they get to the tropics or like southern Southeast Asia, I guess. Yeah, and this is technically it's in the family. It's not a true oak in the genus Quercus. But they are often considered like kind of halfway in between, like they just speciated out a little bit because they have flowers like one, fruit like the other kind of thing.
Oh, interesting, Casey.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's got a nice little acorn too. It's
cool.
Cute. All right, well, Casey, next up.
Okay, here we go.
Jordana.
Jordana is in like Jordan.
Blank Jordana. It could be.
It's got to be named after someone. Or Jordanae, maybe. Like Arborvita. Well, I got two options here. I'm going oak again.
Casey, this is an oak.
Yes!
This is Lithocarpus Jordana.
Okay.
The Laguna stone oak.
The stone oak.
And this is a fun one.
Yeah, another little funny guy.
It is evergreen.
Oh, yes. This makes sense in the tropical areas. Of course, why would you drop your leaves if you don't have to?
It makes perfect sense.
Okay, yeah. So I'm really banking on the fact that I have gone through all of the scientific names for the pines multiple times, looking for just maybe a species that might exist that I could find somewhere.
Oh, sure.
So I'm just banking on like, okay, do I know that name as a pine? No? Okay, it's got to be this one.
That's great.
Well, it is great, but clearly
50-50.
the very first one I completely got wrong.
Well,
so.
that's okay. You're 0 for 1, but that's only one.
All right, I'll take that. Yeah. Well, no.
Anyway.
I'm 2 for 3.
You are 2 for 3. Sorry, I meant on the pines.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, Casey. Next up, this is our last one.
Okay.
Mercusii.
I think this is a pine.
What makes you say that? You have to have a better reason than just guessing.
Well, two and two is good odds.
God damn it.
That's my guess. Okay, so say it again. Say it one more time.
Mercusii. This is Merkusii.
Okay, so that's a person's name, certainly.
Sure.
Mercusii, or it's from a spot. No, with the eyes, it's always a person's name. So it's named after someone Mercus.
Yeah.
I know Mertensiana, but this is different than that. Okay, I actually haven't heard of this one as a pine, so it does make me want to say that it is an oak tree, but it would be like Mercus's oak or something like that. And that is, it sounds like it's a French name. So I'm going to say this is an oak that is named after a French person.
This is a pine.
Damn it. I should have just stuck with my gut. Why did you question me, Alex? Why did you do this to me? Oh, my God.
Casey said that into a mirror.
I can't believe that is... I should have just stuck with it.
The Mercus pine or the Sumatran pine?
Okay. Should never get in a logic game with a Sicilian.
Yeah, what do you want to know about this one?
I want to know everything. Alex. It's Sumatra pine?
Yeah, so it's mainly found in Indonesia, but it is native in the Philippines.
It's Mercusiana?
Mercusii. Yeah, the Wikipedia page is dismal.
Yeah, that's why you always got to search the gymnosperm database, baby.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. Trees have been reported to 70 meters tall, which would make it the tallest pine east, well, I guess not east, in what they call the Old World, otherwise known as Asia and Europe and Africa.
Cool. Superlative.
Fabulous. All right, well, maybe we gotta look into this tree.
Well, hey, I think this game was kind of a hit.
I think so too. I liked it.
It wasn't bad. All right. See, I stuck with my gut.
I'm happy you did.
It worked out.
No, really, you stuck with my gut because we had no confidence, and I had to say, Alex, we're doing this game.
That's true, Casey.
Yeah,
but I'm going to go one step more backward and say I came up with the game in the first place thinking it was a great idea.
That is true. So we just actually, you just got in a logic game with a Sicilian and lost.
You are rubber. I am glue.
What?
Anyway, it's time for our completely arbitrary AMA, Casey.
Let's do it, Alex.
And this week we got one from Annalisa.
Annalisa.
I love that name, by the way. It's
a great name. Okay.
Annalisa. It reminds me of like a Mario princess.
Oh.
Like you have Peach, Rosalina, Annalisa, Daisy, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Annalisa.
Hey.
Annalisa says, I live in Eastern Washington.
Love that place.
Speaking of Twin Peaks, and they say it's dry and not many big trees unless it's irrigated or near a river.
Okay.
My neighborhood is nicely shaded. You know where I'm going with this. My neighborhood is nicely shaded by a grove of trees of heaven.
Oh.
Cutting them down and planting native saplings would mean losing their lovely shade and bird habitat.
Such a huge issue.
Until the saplings grew up.
Yeah.
How would you go about replacing invasive trees without losing their benefits?
Yeah.
This is like abusive boyfriend who's like, what are you going to do without me?
Yeah.
I paid the rent here.
Totally.
But then like shouts at you and makes you feel like shit, you know? Like, I need to leave him.
Yeah.
But I can't afford this place.
This is hard.
I'm stuck. This is tree of heaven.
This is a tree of heaven. Tree of heaven is an abusive tree.
I think so.
Okay.
What do you think, Casey?
Let's figure out how to address this. Yeah. The best thing about it being a tree, not a person, is that you can, in fact, use a saw on it and it's going to be fine.
My analogies aren't always perfect.
No, they are. I'm taking it to its logical conclusion and noting a particular difference between the two scenarios.
Okay, you can put a saw to them.
Yes, exactly. Which I suppose you can also do in an abusive relationship. We've all heard the song Earl's Gotta Die or whatever.
That's right.
So I think there is a few options. One, pick a big tree that can grow well. If there's a tree of heaven growing there, my bet is a ponderosa pine is going to do fine. Sure. So I would probably say grab yourself a ponderosa pine, maybe a couple other species that are native to this area that can grow and get pretty good size. But that might be a good place to start. Give it a little irrigation if you can to get it going. Meanwhile, cut down the seed-producing trees.
Are trees of heaven dioecious?
They are dioecious.
Oh, how about that?
So if you go out there, you can probably find the ones that right now have little seeds developing versus the ones that do not.
Wow.
Cut down those that are not producing pollen. They are producing the seeds.
Okay.
Lop those off, replace them with the ponderosa pine, let them grow up.
Cool.
That way, best of both worlds.
When you cut down those trees with all the seeds on them,
Yep.
you pick every last one up from the ground.
Or else it's going to grow all over the place.
You rake until you hit bedrock.
You keep going. And I know that it's not that thick, but it's not that thin either.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's where I would start. Although you could also end there. If you realize that none of them are actually producing seeds, then no reason. They're producing pollen, but
sure.
What's the problem?
If they're all male trees,
just
let them hang.
Let them have a good time.
Well, I guess you're kind of, if I had to create a counterpoint out of thin air, it'd be like those male trees might be pollinating female trees down the road.
Yes, yeah.
Like just get rid of them.
So yeah, I would say ultimately you want to get rid of them over time. But yeah, if there's a few species, depending on where you are in Eastern Washington, there's dozens of species that can grow really well there. They range from like catalpas, which would be great choices. Big, beautiful catalpa growing out there, just causing nothing but beautiful flower displays.
That would take some years.
It would definitely take a couple decades to get pretty large.
Okay.
Yeah, but
decades.
Plant it. Decades to be like a big tree, you know? Like just like people, it takes 40 years to actually become a big thing.
Not me.
Now Alex is like, no, I was a big thing.
Only took
like
me till
10 years ago.
Fourth grade.
Ooh, you're a big guy, aren't you? Come on. So that's what I would say. Look to find a couple nice big trees. I also know that the silver maple does pretty well out there. So is the honey locust.
Probably fast growers, no?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Pretty good, pretty decent.
You're gonna say not.
I was going to say not the black locust.
Oh.
Careful of that. That is an invasive tree also, just like the tree of heaven.
Gotcha.
So I would do that. Cut down, if they're all, let's say they're all seed producing trees, then I would cut down the smallest ones and just do some replacement planting. That way you can slowly but surely switch out the canopy and then do this kind of as a long-term project.
That's great.
Cut out some of the small ones so they're not reproducing, let them all grow up, and then slowly but surely take one tree out so the other tree can survive. So it's selective harvesting.
I like this. It's a nice soft transition as opposed to like just slashing and burning and planting something new that will give you nothing for at least 40 years.
Exactly. But that's also the big thing. If that's the toughest tree, the only one that can grow right there.
Yeah. You think
Maybe it's the right thing.
Any tree is better than no tree?
Often if you're looking for shade, right? Yeah.
Of course.
Even someone reached out about the Russian olive after we did that episode saying, oh, this is a horrible invasive tree. They were like, bro, it's the only tree that's even around that will grow where I live.
Yeah.
So I have a little special place in my heart for it. And I was like, well, okay, that works for me.
You were like, well, report spam.
And delete.
Archive.
Don't need to hear from you. Don't you ever contradict what I say.
Well, thank you, Annalisa. We wish you luck with your trees of hell.
Yeah, good luck. It's a tough problem. It's a tough problem.
And if you've got a problem that you want solved, if you want any arborist advice, become a Treemium member at arbortrarypod.supercast.com. That's ARBORTRARY pod.supercast.com. Join up there for a monthly support fee. You can get in the Cone of the Month Club, where we send you monthly botanical stickers illustrated by a cavalcade of artists.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. They're everywhere.
Casey Clapp.
Alex Crowson, great work. Also, everyone, remember, go buy that book and go support Alex's record. And go support Alex's record.
Not editing that.
Yeah, no, come
Sorry.
on, man.
All right, go ahead. Get a clean one.
All right. Hi, everyone. Remember, go pre-order The Trees Around You and support Alex's GoFundMe to support his new album.
It is an Indiegogo. Indiegogo support the record.
Indiegogo support the record.
Thank you.
All right. Don't edit any of it. I suck at this.
I got permission from the man himself.
Yeah.
Next week, everybody, let's see what we have on the docket. I always like doing this when we're doing series, kind of giving a little teaser. Mm-hmm. And I think from your silence, I'm going to be disappointed. We're covering Tree 3.
Yes, I haven't decided which tree we're going to cover next.
I knew out of the corner of my ear, I knew what was going on over there.
Yeah. You heard my panic. He's not making eye contact, but he's also making eye contact. What does that mean?
God. Yeah, well, we'll cover another tropical tree. We can at least promise that.
Yeah, I have one that I'm kind of excited about, and it's going to be funny.
Exciting. Let's not spoil that one.
Okay, done.
All right, we'll see you next time, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Completely Arbortrary Tropical Vacation. Goodbye.
Completely Arbortrary is hosted by Casey Clapp and Alex Crowson.
Our music is by Aves and the Mini Vandals, and our artwork is by Jillian Barthold.
To support the podcast and get rewards in return, become a Treemium member at arbortrarypod.supercast.com.
Thanks for listening.